Let's talk all about AI in business. It's hosted by Brent Muller. Welcome to the Future Proof Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to Future Proof, the podcast where we're decoding how founders, CEOs, and execs are changing the business landscape using emerging technologies like AI, automation, and data. And if you're looking to future proof for your business, you are definitely in the right place. And we got a really exciting guest today. And before I get to Rob, just want to say, for anybody that needs a brainstorming session about how and where AI fits in, Chase and I at Deploy would love to talk to you for 15 minutes. There's no pitch. We're here to help. There's always links in the show notes. But let's get to today's episode. I'm joined by Rob Sousa from Advisor Marketing Hub. Rob, great to have you today.
Great to be here and love the collaboration.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's jump right in, right? First one we always do is let's talk about the leader's journey. Let's talk about your background and leading up and all the kind of the challenges and navigation you've taken to get here.
Yeah, of course. And my background has always been in marketing, almost 30 years in marketing, but I did niche down to the financial industry because my family's been in the business since the early 70s. They've been begging me to be part of the business and keep it going, but marketing's my first love. And so they enticed me as the marketing director. And it was a real big pivot for me because it's so much different than all the other marketing out there today. It was really old school and outdated. So we were doing dinner workshops, and then the pandemic hit. And all of a sudden, everything's closed down. And for a team of 12, I had to reinvent our entire marketing platform overnight. And that's when we had to really jump back in and dive deep into digital. And within 12 months, we're able to re-engineer everything to go digital. It was painstaking. But in the process, not only did we help create another marketing avenue so that we weren't reliant on one particular, but it actually opened so many doors that other advisors across the country that we had been networked with, just like I'm networking with you, started asking, hey, what are you guys doing? And how did you make the pivot so quickly? And so we started sharing what we had learned with them. And that started our company, Advisor Marketing Hub. So I have my financial business, and then I also have the marketing agency business as well. And then AI came along, and it was like a total game changer. I mean, we just couldn't believe the potential of what AI could do in combination with our virtual assistants in the Philippines, the ability to create content on point. And I have a lot of clients who will say, wow, the content after creating an AI bot around that particular client, they're shocked that the content isn't just on point. And a lot of times they'll say, man, that content's even better than I'd create, but still in their voice and their tone.
Right.
But because they don't have to do the homework, that AI does the homework for them, it's most of the time more effective than even if I had the client do it himself.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's going to unlock so many doors, right? So just real quick, tell everybody kind of that story about, because I think if you're a financial advisor, you lived through that, right? And if you're not, you've been invited to those dinners, right? And then COVID hits. And so what was your thought process of how do I reinvent this? Like, what is the challenge?
Well, I would contribute it honestly to collaborative. You know, I've always been about find where the most rapid successful change is in your industry. For me at the time, marketing, and what are they doing? And if they're growing the quickest, then I try and connect with them, network with them, learn from them, because figuring it out myself is going to take 3 times longer. Why not go and meet with people who've already figured it out and who are willing to help you shortcut the process? I didn't have time on my side. I had 12 people's careers relying on me to get it figured out and get it figured out fast. So I went to the leaders in my space and did whatever necessary to consume their content, their master classes, and get it figured out quickly.
Yeah, I definitely can. It's the right approach. And again, the whole reason we've started the podcast, as most people know that are listening, was through collaboration. Rob, that's exactly what we're trying to do is how do we shed light on the problems? So talk to us about now that AI is here, how you're helping your clients in ways you probably never thought possible.
Yeah, I would say there's 2 parts. I think the first part, and probably most important, was capturing the tone, writing style, speaking style, personal stories, and personal background. I always say you are your brand. Well, if you are your brand, then and in our industry, scalable content was
Unheard of,
syndicated.
right?
It was
Yeah.
syndicated content. It wasn't individualized or personalized to the
Right.
advisor. And so advisors like, how do I stand out from the crowd and not become a commodity? We all offer the same products and services. How do I get people to like, know, and trust me if I don't
Yeah.
have an opportunity to tell my story? So, but they didn't have time to develop that skill because it's like learning marketing and mastering. It's going to take me 20 hours a week. Can I just pay you
Absolutely.
to do it? Well, to do it affordably, you either have to have a big enough firm to have a full-time marketing director, which majority of advisors, 70, 80% do not, or we built kind of the virtual assistant model, but then we had to do a lot of transcripting and notes and bullet points, and still it's not quite
Absolutely.
as authentic as the business owner telling their own story until AI came around, and the ability to interview and let that client tell their whole story and their preferences and their bias. Everything that happens to a business owner from the time they were a kid to the now defines their brand, their preferences, their values, and that's what makes them unique. And so their opinions are based on their personal history and experience. Capturing that in an interview and then turning it into a database of content that can be accessed and pulled from to tell their story was the first step and biggest game changer. And then the second, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, that's just accessing accurate, relevant information about your industry in real time by a push of a button faster than the business owner can do themselves because of the ability for AI to search the entire internet.
Yeah. And so how have you seen, because the coolest part about what you do, and it's why I love talking to guys like you, is that you're so focused on the industry. You know that industry in and out. You can have different conversations with your clients than anybody else, like, a marketing firm that serves everybody. Can't have the types of conversations that you can, and then turning that in and teaching AI how to do that at another level. I can't imagine, but just tell us, like, some of the results that you've seen, again, not getting into specifics, but how that's changed an advisor's practice.
Yeah, I think that a lot of advisors, and I think business owners in general, because we deal with everything in the financial industry from real estate agents to any sales agent, and it's a huge industry. So the
Yeah.
reality is, niching down helped us make sure that we were mastering the content flow. But now that AI's come about and you can catalog that information and automate it through what we call agents, and then we can brand them based on the personal stories of a particular client, allowed advisors to not feel that pressure between, okay, I'm doing really well in sales, and so it's taking up all their time and they're ignoring the marketing piece. And then when that sales cycle ends and they turn around and look at, okay, where's my next appointment for my next sale? Oh, wait, I don't have any in the pipeline. And so this industry tends to be really high highs and really low lows, and
Yeah. I
income
know a few
stability.
advisors, and that's exactly what they would say to you. Yes.
So figuring out a way to automate the marketing process so that they could focus on the sales and delivery of financial planning instead of bouncing back and forth between marketing and sales really has helped our clients level out their performance, their sales, their income. And I think without AI, we would not have been able to fully automate that entire process and be
Yeah.
authentic to the client's brand.
Yes, and that's the key, right? Is being able to do that and unlock that. And amazing. So, Rob, as you look out, right, talk to us about where this industry is heading and how AI is going to help shape and make it better, improve it, all the underlying parts of it.
It's super fascinating. I attended a huge conference in Huntington Beach, California, and they actually did it on the sand, and it was for financial advisors. There were like 5,000 people there, 4 stages. It was incredible. It was one of the best networking events I've seen in a long time. And consequently, it was called Future Proof, their Future Proof conference. And the whole point was, let's bring all the latest and greatest technologies and services and network together so that people could future-proof their businesses and their practices. Well, in the opening speech of that particular convention, they got on stage and said, if you don't incorporate AI into your business, you're likely within 5 years to be out of business. You'll become a commodity and irrelevant. And then they teased a presentation or competition between 3 advisors and of the most successful advisors in the country and one AI agent as a financial advisor. They designed and built an AI financial advisor. And then people were able to ask questions of the 3 most successful and compare it to the answers from the AI agent. And then they scored it on accuracy, and the AI agent outperformed the combination of all 3 of the best advisors.
Yep.
That's the future.
That's amazing. So I think every industry, by the way, should do that because it will open their eyes to, they need to work alongside it. And we've always called them here on the podcast, digital coworkers. AI is not there to take your job right now. It's there to help you do it way, way better, way faster. And like you said, which I haven't incorporated, so I'll be using this from you, Rob, but on brand invoice, right?
Yes.
Which I think is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. And I absolutely obsessed with automation. I was telling you earlier before we started that my wish list of automation and AI grows faster than we can build. So if you're looking for help in that area and you're an agency owner, you definitely need to connect with Deploy, because that's where I'm at. Is my limitation to scale is based on really trying to we call it and Copilot is an actual AI product.
Right. And that's where it came from, right? Microsoft, that's where it came from, is co-piloting, right? Sitting next to you, right?
That's right. And if you can learn to program the AI the way you prefer it to give you output, well, now then you become the developer, the director, the producer of the results. If you just use regular AI, you're going to get the same results as everybody else. But if you use the customization features, you can build an AI that will give you if you train it enough, give you exactly what you want. If you're diligent enough, or you can hire or partner somebody that knows how to do that. And then all of a sudden, now I can have anybody create content for that particular person, and it doesn't matter who that person is, because the AI is going to be able to output whatever it is we need for that particular client.
Yeah, well, and it's amazing. To piggyback on, so we built something called the Chief of Staff based on a lot of podcasts, right? I was telling you before, it's think of it, if you have a mentor or a coach, right? But you can only get to them once or twice a month, maybe once a week if you're lucky, right? Because they're busy people. With AI, we've taught it, right, in specific things to train it so you can interact with it every day. And so, so that's some of the things that we do behind the scenes. But again, to your point, that's a generic one. It doesn't do as well, but if you train it in financial advisors, right, now you have a financial advisor chief of staff that helps every agent do better. They're the kind of things that we're going to work with Rob on to bring to the market. So at Deploy, that's kind of our thing. We have a lab, right? But we don't like to just sell generic stuff, to Rob's point, because it's about tailoring it and teaching it to help that specific person in that specific industry, right? And so to me, if you're an agent, you absolutely want to be talking to Rob, and Rob and Chase will be talking behind the scenes about how to bring the right things to the agents. And this is kind of how, to me, the new, we call it the horizontal model, but it's a partnership model in collaboration. How do we make it a win-win-win for everybody by bringing the best solutions forward and putting them in the hands of the specific, in this case, advisors. But yeah, Rob, I love what you're doing. And I think that this is how you help. And that conference was amazing, by the way. Like, I wish every industry does that, because now it's going to show people, wow, I can unlock this and I can be using it every day in my own business. Personally, you can name it, right? That's what's really cool. You could build a whole org chart this way, but you really just need 1 or 2 solutions to help you. But the key, and what I want to dive into with you, Rob, is the automation piece. Can you kind of explain to, especially if there's advisors out there that are watching this that aren't working with you yet, but explain how automation is changing the game, because I don't think everybody understands that.
No, and I think back to kind of our most recent deployment. There are features in our software, Better Automate, which is built on a Go high level platform. It's an agency platform, just allowing us to clone things and then rebrand them for our clients on a faster scale. And we don't pretend to try and hide what we're doing. This is advisors don't, or at least our clients don't want to be doing this themselves. They want to hire us to do it. And the idea of automation is, how do you connect systems in place to eliminate the ability to have to manually do things that advisors know they should be doing? They know that it would benefit them, but they get busy and these things get dropped. And that's like follow-up. Like when a meeting ends, and because we talk about reputation management, SEO, referrals. So we just deployed a couple months ago the ability that every time a meeting's over, 6 hours later, they get a follow-up email and text message saying, would you give us your feedback? And it's really just a Google review.
Right.
And so their feedback and their 5-star goes into a Google review. Now you're building your social proof and reviews online. And then 7 days later, asks them, hey, would you mind doing an email introduction to someone you think may value from our services? And so now you're getting the referral built in. And we just kept building that out for a 6-week period. And it goes out after every single meeting that the client has. And the clients are saying, this is like, they're getting more meetings from referrals now than they've ever had before. And their social proof's increasing, and it's all completely automated. They don't even have to think about it.
So let me take a quick time out right now to kind of hit two things. So if you're watching this and you're an advisor, right? Or in any business, right? You think about how many things, if you're in sales especially, and you have sales meetings, how many times have you dropped the follow-up ball? We all have, right?
Yeah.
AI never misses, especially when it's built with automation, right? And so what it allows you to do is plug the leaks in your workflow of your everyday process, right? And Rob just hit on one, right? He actually hit on two, right? The Google reviews and the referrals, right? The nice part is it can be expanded out to, right? Like some people use Trustpilot. It doesn't have to be Google. You can add Trustpilot. You can give the users option. This is what automation and AI can do in combination to help make solopreneurs especially, right, and small businesses way more efficient by plugging the holes. So, and Rob is only scratching the surface on some of the automations that I know he's built, right, for agents. So think about how much more productive you're going to be. So Rob, yeah, go ahead.
Well, and just to speak to that, like our next iteration of the feedback reviews would be more of an AI agent that's more intelligent and saying, oh, well, which platform would you prefer to provide us feedback? Trustpilot, Google, Facebook, and then the person can respond, and then the AI can send them to that platform, allow them to post the reviews on the platform, or Yelp on the platform they prefer, and route the automation to be intelligent to the preferences of the person who's using it.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. And the cool part is some of the things that are coming out are additional things for automating the referrals like Rob talked about. When you're off hours, right? There's going to be off hours answering services that are automated, right? All coming through what Rob is building. So just want everybody to understand that there's ways and things you're not thinking of. And it's why you need to get on a call with Rob and talk to him about, tell me some of the things that it can plug the holes, not just in my sales process, but in my back end operations, right? Think about the automated emails that can go out for a year, right? Think about when you're not there and someone is sitting around at night at 8 o'clock at night and they're like, and they get one of your emails. And now they want to book a call with you. The AI agent can book that call in, and you can have a meeting later that week, right? Or the next week with a prospect that you didn't even interact with because of the automation, right? And so these are the kind of things that I think if you're watching this is that you need to understand and expand your mind, because you're still probably thinking about how it's done the manual way and how many manual tasks. If you can automate it and add AI in, to Rob's point, Copilot now comes into play. And I really think that that's what Better Automate is your Copilot to make your business grow faster.
Where the light bulb really went on for me was we had, and luckily they had just opened up the ability to go to Hawaii if you had proved during COVID that you tested positive. Then you had to go there and test positive. We finally made it. Our family's sitting on the beach and my phone keeps going off. And this is after the year of trying to reinvent ourselves and trying to apply automation. Well, my phone keeps going off. And she says, well, turn it off. And I said, well, I can't because these are appointments that are landing on my calendar for the week we get home. By the time we got home from Hawaii to California, I had like 20 appointments on my calendar. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if only I could have been doing this 5 years ago where I could be on a beach and get 20 appointments in a single week. Holy cow. Yes. That's when we really launched our marketing campaign to the rest of the industry because we knew we had something that the entire industry needed.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're just scratching the surface of how you can help them. And the point of the whole podcast and why we started it is to showcase guys like Rob and what they're doing to help, right? This is not about sales. This is about helping you grow your financial advisor practice, right? And to me, and now what's going to happen, like we talked about before the podcast, is the other industries that are kind of congruent here that are natural. You can help them because, again, rising tide lifts all boats, right? And it's just the natural evolution of how you help financial advisors and then the people they work with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and we were talking earlier as well, but the competition, there really isn't any competition from my perspective. But what it's going to, the number of business owners that are taking to adoption, either they're adopting it themselves by learning, which takes an enormous amount of time. I have a team of like 35 people who are trying to learn every week what's coming out that's new. But to partner with a company that can do that for you so you can focus on your company, the best investment you probably could ever make in your business. Because again, if you don't make that investment now, the people who do are going to become more relevant than you at a faster pace than we've ever seen in the history of this country. It's going to happen so fast. You're going to blink and say, why did I not get on board? And now I'm treading water in the deep end and can't keep my head above water.
Yes. And to piggyback on what Rob said, to me, this is there's been a lot of hype about things that you could wait on. There's been a lot of hype around AI in general, but the reality is the results that we see from people that adopt it in the right way and right through what Rob at Better Automate is doing and Advisor Marketing Hub is changing the game in financial advisors. And we see this across, where Chase and I behind for Deploy, where we're seeing it, we see this across the board in every industry. The early adopters, right, of AI in the right way to plug the holes in their system are seeing their business grow. And what's going to happen, you're going to see consolidation in every industry because of it, because the people that don't adopt, to what you were just saying, they're going to get left behind and they're going to have to sell their practice for pennies on the dollar because the people that are using it are going to get way ahead. And it's not a scare tactic. It's the fact that we're seeing, right? And again, Rob, you can attest to this, the results that you see, right? 20 appointments a week while you're on the beach, right? That's how you can have AI working for you when you're not there, right? Off hours. People don't understand how the internet in general has changed over the last few years because of the cell phones, right? Is people definitely are on their phone looking at things on social media. And guess what? If they see your ad or they see a post and they go, I need to book a call with that person, they're going to do it at 8 or 9, 10 o'clock at night, right? When no one's working in the office. But guess what? The agent can start engaging, answer their questions, and book the call for them, right? How do you compete with that if you're not using it? So my point is you really need to get on the phone with Rob and his team if you're in this industry, because it will improve your business overnight. And I want to say one last thing before I get back to my next question for you, Rob, but for all those people out there that heard, because I get this across every industry, because we use high level, right? High level is like buying WordPress. It's generic. Right. You have to do so much work to customize it for your industry. If you want to go do that, you're out of your mind, right? When you could go call Rob and have it done in a couple days, and it's got everything in your industry taught and ready to go, right? And so to me, that's what people have to understand is don't try to game the system, turn into the system, because speed is the new currency. Rob, tell me how you feel about, kind of what I was just saying.
No, you couldn't be more on point. The idea is, it's We've spent the last 6 years developing automations, marketing campaigns, retarget campaigns, reputation campaigns. Why would you want to start at zero when we literally can give you what we've been testing over hundreds of advisors across the country, and we can literally give you the ones that work and just rebrand them. Why would you start 7 years ago and try and catch up? You never will. Speed to market's becoming everything now. It's kind of like advertising. I get a lot of advisors like, oh, I don't need marketing because I do a workshop every month and I get all the appointments I need from that workshop. Yeah, but the problem is when you go to sell your business and you're no longer there to teach the workshop and close the deal, your business is worth nothing. There's no system that you can sell because you are the system, and you just have to keep handing over cash to keep the system going. Whereas AI is not, it's a one-time investment, and it will give you a return for life.
And it's so funny. You know what my next question was going to be before you went into that? Tell them how this helps value their practice, because your data assets, your list, right? I have a friend who's a financial advisor, and he said, oh, you know what? It'd be really great. And he showed me a stack of yellow index cards that he still gets from the workshops. And I said, well, they're not in a database anywhere? Or not? No. I said, that is a sellable asset, right? At some point, you've got to get it in there, let alone what you're talking about. It can 2 to 5x a value of any business having AI and systems.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes. And for some business, it's much higher. But to me, like, they're the kind of things that we have to help educate the market, Rob, because I don't think everybody understands the simple things that are missing, right? That you can do to, set yourself up, right? Especially as you think about retirement down the road, right? And selling your practice at some point.
Well, and people think, oh, well, I really don't want to delegate these things out because it's really unique to me, and people come and they interact and get involved in my business because of me. Well, that's extremely egocentric from my standpoint, because if what you care about the most is you should be caring about your exit plan, because you'll never buy your own freedom if it's always about you and it's always dependent on you. The unique thing about AI is you can duplicate you better than you can an even employee. You just have to program the AI with all the things that your beliefs, your systems, your values, your stories, your background, and you could just talk into a camera for 4 hours, get the transcript, upload it to any AI system, and then name it. And this is what's going to happen. People are going to do this like with their spouses. In 10 years, they're going to be having conversations with their spouse who's not been around for 8 years. Just because they like the familiarity of being able to get the same jokes, the same stories. I mean, it's crazy what's going to happen, but this is going to happen fast. And either we're going to go along with the ride or we're going to get left behind.
Yeah, 100%. Could not agree with you more. I love it. Rob, listen, I could go on and on with you for hours. Unfortunately, we're getting close to time, but really what I want to say is we're going to put all the links to Advisor Marketing Hub, to Better Automate, all of that in there so they can get in touch with you. For the advisors out there that are watching this, tell them how to get in touch with you, and tell them why. Because, I mean, I think we've hit on all the topics, but the fact that you have packages ready to go for them right out of the box to get them going immediately, and to add to, the dinners that most of them are doing, is, to me, what's an amazing change to any advisor practice.
Well, they can always go to advisormarketinghub.com, but I would say more importantly, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we give everything away for free. I mean, if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you want to learn the value of all this stuff and you want to see real examples of how this can transform your business, we give it all away for free every Wednesday. Digital Advisor Weekly on YouTube. It's exactly what you're doing here with the podcast. And we give away free resources, free GPTs, free SOP guides, and everything else. We don't hold back, because we know that if you learn the value of what we do, then if you want us to step in and help you with the implementation, we know that you will come back and work with us. Otherwise, I hope that they take everything that we teach, and I hope that they implement it with their own team. And if they do, that's amazing.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Rob, I can't thank you enough. I'm so excited about what you're doing. We work with through a few of our partners who work with a lot of financial advisors, and they need this badly. I've talked to some of them, and I can't wait to introduce them to you, because this is exactly what we've done ourselves. One of our sister companies did this in HVAC, right? And we got so good at it that we offer a 10x guarantee to them. And because of what AI is able to do with data and automation. And this is why, if you're watching this and you're in any business, you need to talk to someone like us or someone like Rob about how to do this the right way, because it will change your business in a very short amount.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Well, Rob, thank you for spending time. Guys, this wraps up this episode of Future Proof, where leaders, founders, and execs are changing the game. And like I said, if you're looking to future-proof your business, please continue to watch and reach out when you have any questions. We're happy to. It's not always us. We built the podcast to connect you to people like Rob and all our other partners out there. So if there's somebody that's specialized, we're going to introduce you to them, because it's about growing. It's about leveraging AI, data, and automation to grow your business. That's all we're about. So thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
If you're ready to embrace change and lead with innovation, be sure to subscribe and never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Future Proof Podcast.